During World War II, American soldiers across the Pacific gathered around crackling radios to hear a woman's voice drifting out of Japan on a program called Zero Hour. The GIs gave her a name, Tokyo Rose. To them, she was a traitor, mocking their homesickness, spreading lies, and trying to break their morale. After the war, the United States would spend years and millions of dollars to convict a woman of treason for being her. But here is the truth that changes everything. Tokyo Rose never existed. The woman America punished was not a villain, but an American citizen trapped inside one of the most dangerous myths of the 20th century. Iva Toguri was born in Los Angeles on July 4, 1916. She grew up thoroughly American, loving baseball, swing music, and UCLA football. In June 1941, she traveled to Japan to visit a sick aunt, expecting to return home within months. It was her first trip abroad. She would not see the United States again for 7 years. When Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, Iva was suddenly stranded in enemy territory. Japanese authorities demanded she renounce her U.S. citizenship and swear loyalty to the emperor. She refused. That simple act of defiance would change everything. That single act of defiance branded her an enemy alien. While her family back home was being sent to internment camps, Iva was denied food rations, harassed by secret police, and left struggling to survive. Forced to live under constant surveillance, Iva's life became a daily struggle. She moved between small apartments and relatives' homes, always watched, always cautious. To survive, she relied on the black market for food and supplies, learned to keep her movements quiet, and endured the fear that discovery could mean punishment, or worse. Loyal to a country she could not return to, Iva navigated a world of suspicion, deprivation, and quiet resistance. Desperate for work, Iva took a job as a typist at Radio Tokyo. There she encountered a strange group of men, Allied prisoners of war forced to produce Japanese propaganda. One of them, Australian officer Charles Cousins, quietly turned sabotage into survival. Instead of obedient propaganda, he rewrote scripts to sound absurd, sarcastic, and hollow. His goal was simple: strip the broadcasts of their power. Cousins needed a female voice to sell the act, someone who sounded ordinary, friendly, and American. Reluctantly, Iva agreed. On the air, she never called herself Tokyo Rose. Her microphone name was Orphan Anne. She joked, teased, and exaggerated the scripts until they sounded ridiculous. American intelligence later concluded the program had no measurable negative effect on troop morale. Some soldiers even said it boosted it. Off the air, Iva did something far more dangerous. She secretly smuggled food, medicine, and messages to starving Allied prisoners, knowing discovery could mean torture or execution. She was not a collaborator. She was quietly resisting. Tokyo Rose, meanwhile, was never a real person. It was a nickname American servicemen used for any female voice they heard on Japanese radio. Newspapers and cartoons turned that nickname into a single, seductive enemy figure. In August 1945, the war finally ended. Japan surrendered and U.S. occupation forces arrived across the islands. For the first time in years, Iva Toguri could breathe without constant fear. Initially, she was viewed not as a criminal, but as a victim, an American trapped in enemy territory, enduring years of hardship and suspicion. For a brief moment, it seemed the nightmare might be over. Yet the shadow of the myth that would brand her Tokyo Rose was already beginning to take shape. By the end of the war, the myth was bigger than the truth, and America wanted someone to pay for it. In 1945, broke and desperate to get home, Iva made a fatal mistake. Reporters offered her money for interviews. She naively signed an autograph as Tokyo Rose, not realizing she had just stepped into the role of a national villain. She was arrested and flown back to the United States in handcuffs. An initial FBI investigation found no evidence she had committed treason, and prosecutors quietly recommended dropping the case. But public outrage demanded a conviction. In 1949, Iva Toguri was put on trial in San Francisco. In one of the most politicized court cases in American history, the government relied on perjured testimony, much of it later proven to be coerced. No recording of her broadcast supported the charges. Nevertheless, she was convicted on a single count of treason, fined $10,000, stripped of her American citizenship, and sentenced to 10 years in prison. She served 6. The government ordered her deported, but Japan refused to take her back. Born in Los Angeles, rejected by both nations, she became stateless, an American by birth, condemned by her own country, with nowhere else to belong. After her release from prison, Iva disappeared from public life. She married Felipe d'Aquino, who she met and worked with in Tokyo. They settled in Chicago, running a small family shop far from the spotlight. For decades, she lived quietly in obscurity, carrying the weight of a name she never chose, waiting for the truth to catch up with her life. Slowly, the truth began to surface. Journalists uncovered that witnesses had been coached to lie. The case unraveled piece by piece. In 1977, in one of his final acts as president, Gerald Ford issued a full and unconditional pardon, restoring Iva Toguri's citizenship. The government quietly acknowledged what it had taken 30 years to admit. The woman it destroyed had been innocent. Iva Toguri died in 2006 at the age of 90. She was never Tokyo Rose. She was an American patriot caught between empires, sacrificed to fear, racism, and a wartime myth. Justice eventually came, but far too late to erase the damage done by a voice that never truly existed. Like, share, and subscribe for more history.